Melbourne CBD is beginning its first full day of stage 4 coronavirus restrictions. This is Flinders Street Station. According to data from the City of Melbourne, the busiest suburban railway station in the Southern Hemisphere saw 31% less foot traffic through its doors at 5 a.m. than its 4-week average. Considering the restrictions before that, that's a remarkable drop yet again. Thousands of Melburnians are nervously awaiting an announcement today about how workplace changes will affect their jobs. Here's the situation across the state. A state of disaster is now in force in Victoria, giving police additional compliance powers. A curfew unlike any Melbourne has ever seen is also now in place for the next 6 weeks, enforced from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. Melburnians may only exercise for a maximum of 1 hour a day, and within a 5-kilometre radius of their home. Shopping visits will also be restricted to 1 per day within the same boundaries. Regional areas will meanwhile move to stage 3 restrictions from Thursday, meaning eateries, personal care and gyms will all close. There is some anger from federal national MPs this morning about the impact this will have on 1.5 million regional Victorians, many from communities without any COVID cases. The new restrictions will last until at least September 13 for all of Victoria. Attention today turns to the significant changes for Melbourne workplaces that Premier Daniel Andrews will unveil. The state government flagged yesterday that industry-wide shutdowns would be announced for some sectors, while other businesses could be forced to reduce their operating hours. Food and beverage retailers will stay open but will only be able to offer takeaway. The further restrictions are now expected to cost the economy $9 billion, triple what Treasury forecast in the budget update just a fortnight ago. The Victorian government deeming all of this necessary because of the trajectory you can see on your screen here. 429 new cases of COVID are expected to be reported today. That's down from 671 yesterday. That drop will be welcome, but concerns continue around the 760 mystery cases where authorities are unable to track and trace their source of infection. The COVID death toll passed the 200 mark over the weekend, with 208 fatalities now recorded. With around 18,000 Australians in total having contracted the virus this year, its overall death rate nationally is sitting at just 1.16%. The country has 6,600 active COVID cases currently, but in better news, there are now currently no known cases in Canberra or Tasmania. We have reporters standing by to bring us the latest on the new restrictions in Melbourne, as well as all of the political reaction. First to Patrick Murrell in Melbourne. Pat, Victoria's hours into an unsettling state of disaster.
Annalise, this state of disaster will continue in Victoria for at least the next 6 weeks. Melbourne has awoken after suddenly being plunged into an unprecedented curfew last night. And when you look at the scenes in the city, it is eerie, completely empty almost compared to this same time last week. And that will remain the norm for at least the next 6 weeks moving forward. Every night from 8 p.m. until 5 a.m, Melburnians will be banned from leaving their home unless it's for work or for care. Those who break the curfew are liable for a $1,600 on-the-spot fine if they're caught from police. As well, Melburnians have been prohibited from straying more than 5 kilometres from their homes unless it's for work or for care. This includes grocery shopping, which is now limited to once per day, one member of a household doing all the shopping, or for exercise, which is limited to 1 hour once per day in a group of 2, and only walking or jogging allowed. Other recreational activities such as golf have now been banned. All schools are returning to full remote online learning, and childcare centres will remain closed to all but the children of essential workers. Weddings have been banned and funerals are restricted to up to 10 mourners per service. Regional Victoria, including Mitchell Shire, will re-enter stage 3 lockdown from Wednesday midnight. Less severe restrictions, but it will still mean gyms close and restaurants and cafes return to takeaway only. To help enforce this, police have been given sweeping new powers, including the ability to enter people's homes without a warrant. All of this was deemed necessary after a surge in cases in Victoria, thousands recorded over last week, dozens of deaths as well. A particular concern, over 700 deemed mystery cases, contact tracers unable to ascertain where the virus has come from or where it will spread from here. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg was not mincing his words this morning, all but describing Victoria as a war zone.
We are, Pete, at war, and every Victorian is on the front line. We can't afford holes in our defence, and that's why everyone needs to follow these new rules, because just a few people can endanger many, and that's the harsh reality of what we find ourselves in Victoria.
And Pat, many Melburnians will find out today if they have a job over the next 6 weeks.
And Elise, even late last night, the government was still finalising which businesses and industries will be forced to close as part of the Stage 4 lockdown. Broadly, we've been given 3 categories. The first, essential services, will continue operating as normal throughout the lockdown. These are supermarkets and petrol stations, to name a few. The second category is an in-between category. These are businesses and industries that will be allowed to continue to operate. However, there will be restrictions on the services they can provide or the hours they can operate. Some examples that have been floated include hardware stores, which may be allowed to open, but only for tradespeople and not for mums and dads wanting to do DIY jobs at home. The third and final category are non-essential businesses and services. These will be forced to close if that work can't be done from home. Again, another example that's been speculated is call centres and other office jobs, which is where some of the workplace transmission may be. Now, there's a lot of uncertainty this morning, particularly from the construction industry. We know the government has been very hesitant to shut construction down, and late last night, lobby groups have been pleading to remain open if work can be done safely. That announcement won't come until later on this afternoon. We know business owners as well have been pleading with the people of Melbourne to do the right thing and drive the virus numbers down so they can get back to business as soon as possible.
And I pray that everyone, that we are in this together this time, that everyone does the right thing, that, you know, there is the right community spirit and people do stay home, do what you're told to do. I know we're sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of being told what to do. But listen, you know, otherwise we're going to be in this forever. And then there is no way out. And then there's more helplessness, more job loss, more suicides, more mental anguish that we're all going through right now. It's about being selfless at times. We've got to be selfless now. We've got to do what's right for the rest of the state.
Annalise, there's a sense of trepidation in the air here in Melbourne this morning. Millions of people unsure if they'll have a job or a livelihood moving forward after today's announcement.